Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be another cooking video. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and this one's going to be a little bit different because they're all no-bake desserts. So they're either going to have no cooking or limited cooking, and there's no baking at all. So that way you don't have to heat up your oven this summer. Even though I'm wearing a sweatshirt right now because it is 59 degrees. So, yeah, but let's get started on this first dessert. Okay, so this first dessert is a s'mores parfait. You need mini marshmallows, graham crackers, I just crushed up a sleeve, whipped topping, and chocolate pudding. I didn't have a box of instant chocolate pudding, and that's what the recipe calls for, but I just made my own homemade chocolate pudding. So, yeah, if you want to do that, go right ahead, but know that you can use the instant chocolate pudding. So let me set you up, and I will show you how you build this. I'm just using a glass because I'm just making one for me. If I was making this for a whole bunch of people, I would use like plastic punch cups. Okay, so to make this, you layer chocolate pudding, a layer of graham crackers, more chocolate pudding, Cool Whip, and you top it with marshmallows. And if you have a kitchen torch, you can torch the marshmallows. I don't have a kitchen torch, so I didn't torch mine, but it tasted just fine without it. And it definitely does taste like a s'more. And if you do this and serve it while the chocolate pudding is warm, it's even better because it tastes like a warm s'more that you would get off of a campfire, which is what I want when I make s'mores.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine.
So that's what the dessert looks like. If you have a kitchen torch, you can totally torch the marshmallows. I don't have one. So I'm just going to serve it as is. But it looks really good, and I can't wait to taste this. Okay. So I'm prepared for this to make a massive mess because I overfilled it a little bit. But make sure you get a bite of everything. And this actually does taste like a s'more. Even without the marshmallows toasted. I'm sure with them toasted it would even taste more like one. But this is freaking good. So okay, so for the homemade dulce de leche, which I'm doing because I just don't want to, because while it's extra time, I don't want to spend the money on the pre-made stuff and it not taste as good. So all you need is sugar, baking soda, and milk. And I just got everything out. This glass is to help stir it later. I'll explain that and show you when I can add the glass. So I'm going to set you up and we'll get started. Okay, so to start the dulce de leche, you need to I just turned on the wrong pan. turn your burner on to medium heat, and I'm just going to turn mine on now so it can be heating up. And it calls for 4 cups of milk, and then you just wait for that to heat up a little bit, and then once it's warm, we'll add the rest. Okay, so now that the milk is warm, you add in 1 cup of sugar. The recipe I saw said to kind of sprinkle the sugar over the top of the milk. I don't know what that really does, but that's what I'm going to do. And then it says to whisk it until it's combined. Okay, so now it's been mixed in. You add in half a teaspoon of baking soda. And you have to add the baking soda or you won't get the chemical reaction that actually makes this dulce de leche. I wasn't really understanding the chemical reaction part, but apparently that's what gives it the texture and the sweetness that it has. So now that that's mixed in, you turn it up and let it come to a boil, and then once it's boiled, I'll be back. Okay, so while you're waiting for this to come up to a boil, it will form a foam on the top. That's perfectly normal because of the baking soda. And you do need to whisk it every now and then, or the bottom will start turning into caramel like immediately. Okay, so I had to switch burners and switch pans because this boiled up to the top and a little bit over, so I'm just going to switch pans. But now that it's boiled, you flip the glass upside down, and don't do this with the glass. It is not heat safe. But you can add the glass in and turn the heat down to low where it simmers, and the glass stirs the milk and the sugar mixture, so you don't have to constantly stir it. And you do have to go in every 30 minutes or so and do that, like just move the glass around. But I'm going to let that come up to a simmer, and then I'll hop back in every now and then. Okay, so this is what it looks like after almost 2 hours. You can tell where it's reduced on the glass, and the glass actually is stirring this, which I found amazing because I've been hearing it click and all that against the pan, and it's never in the same spot. So of course it's holding still now when I'm filming this clip, but it should be done in about half an hour. Okay, so I removed the glass, so now at this point I have to stir it constantly. until it is done, and that will be at 5:30. So for like the next 20 minutes, I have to stir it constantly. Then I can cool it down in like an ice bath. And transfer it to a jar. Okay, so 2.5 hours later, this is what it looks like. And I'm going to set up the camera and I'm going to start stirring it over this ice bath so it can cool off. And then after it cools off, I'll transfer it to a mason jar. Okay, so I've transferred the bowl over, or the pan over to this bowl with the ice in it, and I'm just gonna stir it. And doing it over this ice bath is supposed to prevent it from crystallizing. I don't know if it really will, but I hope it does. Okay, so this is what it looks like after it's been in the water bath for about 15 minutes. It has gotten quite a bit thicker. Okay, so it's the next day, and I'm going to make my Banoffee Tart. I think that's how you say it, which is what I made the dulce de leche for. But I am just mixing up crushed graham crackers, a little bit, there's sugar in there, like 1/4 of a cup, and butter. But I'm mixing all that up, and I wanted to make like little mini tarts. So I ended up pressing my crumb mixture into a muffin tin, which I had lined with liners. That way it was easier to clean up.
Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just tweak your body, your mind. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you.
Okay, after I got all those liners filled up and pressed into the shape that I wanted them to be, which is the shape of the muffin liner, which makes sense. But after that, I froze these for 10 to 15 minutes. That would they would keep their shape. Basically, freezing it does the same thing as baking it, and since this is no bake recipes, I froze all the crust so I didn't have to bake any of the crust.
Give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time.
after the crust is ready and out of the freezer, you start with a layer of the dulce de leche. I did 2 like tablespoons, or maybe it was 2 teaspoons. It was 2 to 3, yeah, I think it was 2 to 3 teaspoons. Then I sliced a banana and topped that with a banana slice. Or, no, actually, I think most of them got 2 banana slices. And then I topped those with Cool Whip.
You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, 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 oh,
To figure out if I liked it. It is good. To me, it tastes like a caramelized banana pudding. It's nothing super special, but it is good, and especially if you like banana pudding, you need to try this. Okay, so this next recipe is a strawberry pie. So you need 3 pounds of strawberries. These were fresh out of our garden. You need some water. I just put it in a mason jar. Cornstarch, granulated sugar, lemon juice, and butter. And then off camera, I got the green stuff off the strawberries. Then I turned my pan on medium high, dumped in the strawberries, water, sugar, butter, cornstarch, and lemon juice. And I just let it cook until it became like really foamy. And then I turned it down and I let it continue to cook. I will show bits and pieces of the process of it cooking, and all the actual directions will be linked down in the description box in the recipe, because this is not my recipe. I got it from a Pinterest recipe, and because I wanted to make a strawberry pie without using Jell-O, and this was the only one I could find. So, yeah. But since the strawberries are cooking, I'm going to now make the crust. I'm just using graham crackers, melted butter, and some granulated sugar. And I'm just going to mix that all together in my pie pan. And after that, I'm going to form it into the crust, and then I'm going to freeze it for, I think I froze this one for 30 minutes because it was such a large pie pan. Okay, so this is what you want it to look like. It's not super runny, but it's not super thick. And you have to remember, this does thicken up as it cools off. So I just dumped my strawberry pie filling into my pie crust, and then I put it back in the refrigerator to chill for, I think it took an hour and a half. Or no. Yeah, it took 4 hours. I don't know. Yeah, it was an hour and a half if I would have put it in the freezer, but I put it in the fridge. So it was 4 hours in the refrigerator. Okay, so the first slice isn't very pretty because it never is, but it held together really well in the pan, and none of it's leaking out.
Ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh.
Okay, so if you love strawberries, you really need to make this. I topped mine with Cool Whip because, yeah, why not? That's just what we do in my family. If it's a piece of pie or something and it's got fruit in it, it's either chocolate ice cream or Cool Whip. So, yeah. But this is really good. If you love strawberries, you need to make this one. So, I'm going to go. Today I'm going to share how to make a no-bake Oreo peanut butter bar. I've got everything out. I'm just gonna let me just turn the camera around and show you. Okay, first things first is you need Oreos. I already crushed mine. Vanilla, powdered sugar, butter, chocolate chips. I have two because this one's almost empty. And creamy peanut butter. The directions did say it had to be creamy, so yeah, but I don't know why. But yeah, but that's what I had, so that's what I'm going to use. Okay, so to make these you need to line an 8x8 square with parchment paper. I don't have parchment paper, I'm using wax paper, and I'm going to hope that it works. I've never had problems with wax paper when I'm freezing. I have problems with wax paper when I bake. So, yeah. But my butter's almost melted, so I'm going to get started on the crust. Okay, starting with the crust. My crushed Oreos and my melted butter get mixed together, and then that gets formed and patted into the pan. And I did chill that for a few minutes while I was mixing together the peanut butter mixture, which you will see next.
Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get.
Filling is a quarter cup of powdered sugar, and a cup of peanut butter. I'm just going to use the quarter cup because I already have it out, and I don't want to dirty more than I have to.
Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak just my mind. Oh. You're chilling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice.
And this is optional, but it also calls for a teaspoon of vanilla, and I wouldn't usually measure, but it just happens that the cap is a teaspoon, so yeah, it won't hurt anything. Just the fillings might have little pieces of cookie in them, but that's perfectly fine. But that's what it looks like when it's all mixed together. Okay, so now I'm going to layer on top of the crust the peanut butter mixture, and then I'm going to smooth that out with a spatula, being as careful as possible so the crumbs don't come up into the filling layer, even though I'm pretty sure that's inevitable because you're trying to smooth peanut butter, which is a really thick consistency, so you're going to end up having some crumbs in the filling anyway. And I did anyway because I mixed the filling in the bowl that I mixed the crust in because I didn't want to make extra dishes.
You're gentle and wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, 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 oh,
Okay, so now for the topping, it is 1 cup of chocolate chips. I don't measure chocolate chips, I measure with my heart, so yeah. But I don't want so many that you can't bite through it either. And I'm using semi-sweet chocolate chips. You don't have to use that. You can use milk or dark or whatever you want, but this is what I had on hand. And to the chocolate chips, you add 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. So now that that is melted, I'm just going to dump it on top. And I'm using a towel because this bowl gets really hot, and I always forget that these bowls get really hot until I melt chocolate up. So that's what it looks like. before I put it in the fridge. So this is what it looks like when it's cut. It's really thin. I did not expect them to be that thin, but I kind of like that they're that thin. That way you're not struggling to bite them. But now I'm going to try this. Okay, so it's not as sweet as I thought it would be. But it is really good. And it does kind of have that Reese cup with the cookie vibe, which is what I was thinking. So, yeah. If you love peanut butter and chocolate, definitely make this one.